Welcome to the Mind Grow Radio Storyteller Series. I am your host, Stephanie Cathan, and I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. Tom Gorman is a passionate hiker who loves being out on the long trails, and in 2020, after receiving the COVID vaccine, he was diagnosed with a debilitating condition, and it put him in a wheelchair. After doctors told him that he would no longer have use of his legs, Tom refused to accept that he would never walk again. He focused on his recovery, dreaming of the day that he and his wife Betsy would hike the Appalachian Trail together. And we are so happy to celebrate that time is happening. Tom has been featured on Good Morning America, The Today Show, and we are so honored to have him here with us today here in the Mind Grow studio. Please help me welcome Tom Gorman. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. Welcome, Tom. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Yeah, I just have one quick question. I met Tom in Vermont at a historic inn, and we were sitting out on the front porch, and he was telling me about his journey. How many miles did you say, because I was looking back at my notes, and I'm like, could this be right? How many miles did you say that you have hiked since you received that diagnosis, that you would never walk again?
Probably 2,500.
2,500. That is like so mind-blowing to me. First of all, I can't even fathom walking 25 miles, never mind 2,500 miles. So that you have done that is so amazing. Tell us how this whole thing started.
Let's see. I developed a passion for hiking in 2019, and I've been hiking almost every day ever since. And I set my first goal was going to be in 2020 was to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I managed to get about halfway. I made it to Harper's Ferry, so just over 1,000 miles. And then my wife, Betsy, she came down to meet me, and I got homesick. So I said, bring me back home to New York. And so she did. And then I'm like, oh, this is the worst mistake I ever made. I got off the trail. And so I knew she wouldn't let me go back that year in 2020. So I said, well, how about if I do a shorter hike and I hike the Vermont Long Trail? It's only about 300 miles. So she agreed to that. And then my goal was going to be to finish the Appalachian Trail in 2021. And that's when I got the Janssen COVID vaccine, and I developed Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I lost my ability to use my legs and my hands. And I spent 3 months in the hospital, and they told me I would probably never walk again. And I just said to myself, that is not my lot in life. And I went through lots of therapies and IV sessions with immunoglobulin and physical therapy, and I came back. I'm now about probably 95% recovered. I still have a tingling and numbness in my hands and in my feet, but I'm out there walking and hiking every day.
I just find that so miraculous and amazing, because what would happen to most people being delivered that news is they would lose hope. They would start to accept that life of longing and pain and suffering and loss. And you just turned that on its head, and you said, I'm not accepting that. That is not my reality. So what are some things that you did, like, to maintain that mindset? Because you must have had to, like, really cultivate not listening to the naysayers and tuning into a positive way of being regarding your recovery and stuff.
Yeah, it was tough to start out, because as soon as that doctor gave me the prognosis that I wouldn't walk, I said, I want to try tomorrow to stand up and to walk with a walker. And that very next day I did. I went about 25 feet with the walker, and they were thoroughly impressed, and they were on my team at that point, and they did everything they could to help me in my journey to get back on my feet again.
That is so wonderful that they saw your determination. Like, they had to be able to feel it, because you were like, no, not only am I not listening, but tomorrow I'm going to start walking.
Yep, that's pretty amazing.
So what has life looked like for you since starting this journey?
I'm pretty much back to where I was. Life's pretty much the same as before I got the Guillain-Barré, and so I'm out there every single day hiking, usually 5 to 6 miles, and tomorrow I'm starting a really long hike. It's going to be just over 1,000 miles, and it starts here in Vermont, and just outside of Rutland, where the Appalachian Trail and the Long Trail split. And the trail that I'm hiking is called the North Country Trail, and it's the longest national scenic trail in the United States. It's 4,600 miles, but I'm just going to do just over 1,000 from Vermont to Ohio. So that all starts tomorrow.
You say it like so easy. I'm just going to hike, to Ohio from Vermont. I love that about you. Where can people go? Like, are you going to be sharing this journey? Where can people go to follow you and do this journey with you?
Yes, I'll be on Facebook. I'll be taking photos and sending them to my wife, Betsy, and she'll be posting on our Facebook page which is Gumby and Pokey on the AT.
For AT for Appalachian Trail, right?
Correct. Yep.
The AT. And I will also, for the listeners, I will post that link also in the description of this interview so that you can click it and journey along with Tom as he travels the Appalachian Trail, which is such an amazing testament to the power of your mind. Like, I'm so impressed with the way that you just turned that reality on its head, even though professionals were there saying, this is what your life is going to look like. And you were like, not in my eyes. No, it isn't.
Right. You can't let somebody tell you how your life is going to be. You have to make your own life.
So what advice would you give to somebody who might be experiencing like a complete breakdown in what their life was, who has maybe had faced an event or is going through some transition like you were, or similar, like just hardship? What would you say to them?
Life isn't easy, but you can make it a little easier. You got to look for what's good. You got to look for. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you can do and not what you can't do.
It makes a huge difference. It really, really does, and you are evidence of that. Was there things that you did? Like, did you give yourself a routine, or were there certain books that you read, or was there any kind of tips or tools that you used that helped you to maintain that mindset of just focus and determination?
I did everything that my physical therapist told me to do, and even extra. And so I knew that would help me along greatly. And I just tried to keep a positive mindset, and little by little, I made progress. I mean, I was even out on the trails with a rolling walker, a rollator, and as soon as I could get out there, and my wife was scared to death that I'd fall over or something, but she was out there with me, and she supported me the entire way, and that's a big part of it too. You need to have the support of others, and because you can't do it alone. You really need someone there to hold your hand and believe what you believe.
Right. To believe in you and just support you. And when you surround yourself with the uplifters and the supporters, it literally gives you more strength to be able to do whatever it is that you're doing. Was there a time ever that you were like, I'm just tired, I want to just give up?
No, that wasn't an option, because I didn't want my life to be totally turned upside down, and I wanted to get back to being able to walk and use my legs and use my hands and not rely on other people, and try and get back to where I was as a person.
So you just didn't even entertain the thought. You were like, no, that's not an option here. I'm not even going to think about it.
Right. It's kind of like the what they say about old age. There's growing old is tough, but there's worse options.
Do you, not to put you on the spot, if this is a sensitive question, but do you mind if I ask how your age?
Oh no, I'm 64.
64. 64, and you are leaving tomorrow to go like 1,000 miles.
Yes,
and you are doing it on your own terms, even though life said, we're going to throw you this curveball. And you're like, I got that. Fine, throw it, and I'm still moving on with my life. Throw it, I'm still going. And what I'm picking up out of what you've talked to me about in our conversation, what I'm noticing is the power of your decision. Because you decided I'm not listening. Then you decided I'm walking no matter what anybody tells me. You decided I'm going to do what my therapist tells me to do and go above and beyond, and I'm going to decide to show up not only as this part of myself, but as the full part of myself, even though other people are telling me I'm not whole. And that is like such an amazing thing to be aware of, the power of your decision. And it sounds to me like you have really gotten that piece of your own natural superpower down. Like you are a master of decision. And you're proving it every day by what you're doing, the way that you're showing up in the world, the way that you're inspiring other people. Like, I was so inspired, almost in tears out there just talking to you on the porch the other day. It was amazing. I had never felt so good after a conversation, I don't think. You are lighting up the world, and you're just being you. So first of all, I want to say thank you for that and for showing up in this way. And tell us what else you've got going on. Like, what is your, when you see yourself out on the trail, what is the goal? To finish the 2,500 trek?
I've set my goal at just over 1,000 miles, and
just
I think
over 1,000.
That's attainable. So I try not to overtax myself or put too much of a burden on myself, and I like to keep things manageable. If you set realistic goals, then you have a good shot at achieving them. And I try and set realistic goals for myself.
And that's the key piece, right? Realistic goals to you. Just because the doctor doesn't see you walking, you were like, that isn't your goal. It's my goal. And you set it for yourself. And I love that because it doesn't really matter what other people say or think or do. What really matters is what you believe inside about your own abilities and your capabilities and your willingness to show up as that. Wow, you are so amazing. So how does Betsy feel about this whole thing?
She's with me. She's behind me. She's gonna miss me a whole lot while I'm gone, because it'll probably take me about 9 weeks to cover the 1,000 miles. But there's one point where I hike within 15 miles of home, so she's going to come and visit me on the trail that day. So
amazing! I cannot wait to follow your journey with you. So, if you had one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, what would that be?
That's a deep question. I would say just to focus on the long term. There's so many distractions in life that you can kind of get lost along the way. But if you have an end goal in mind, then you can get there, even if you get distracted or misguided along the way. There's always a way to get to the end.
Amazing. Tom, do you have any final words or messages that you would like to give the listeners today?
Wish me luck.
We are definitely doing that. We are definitely rooting for you. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us as you prepare literally to go out on a 1,000-mile trek tomorrow. So thank you for sharing your amazing story. Thank you for showing up in life the way that you do. And I'm so thankful that we had the opportunity to connect and have a conversation, and I cannot wait to just see what you are bringing. I can't wait to try. I'm not a hiker, but I've never wanted to go out on a hike so bad in my life. I think you're inspiring anyone who listens to this to get outside and just spend some time outside. So the Facebook page where you can follow Tom's journey is Gumby and Pokey on the AT. AT is for Appalachian Trail. Tom heads out tomorrow to go on a 1,000-mile trek. He's been here sharing his amazing journey with us in the Mind Growth Studio. And I just want to sincerely thank you for this. And do you have a website or anything? Is there any other place that people can tune in to you and what you're doing?
No, Stephanie, that's it. Just the
Facebook.
Facebook.
Just the Facebook page. So we will all be tuning into you and cheering you on. And before we go, I just want to ask one last question. What would you tell someone who is just starting out on any kind of faith-based journey, like you don't know? When you go hiking, you are out there. Well, you're out there. So anybody who maybe taking on a big endeavor or trying something big or a hefty goal, what would you say to them?
Start out small and then grow from there. But as I said before, don't set your initial goals too lofty, because the chances are you're going to fail. If you start out small and then just build, and it's just like walking, one foot in front of the other.
I'm so thankful for you. Tom Gorman, thank you so much for joining us. I will post the link to this. Everybody go to the Facebook page, Gumby and Pokey on the AT. Follow Tom's journey. Cheer him on as he is making this 1,000-mile trek on the Appalachian Trail. And, Tom, I'm sending you all of the love I have in my heart right now, because you are amazing, and I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
I have been your host, Stephanie Cathen. You've been listening to the Mind Grow Radio Storyteller Series with the amazing, amazing Tom Gorman. And please reach out to him. Let him know you're there on the trail with him, and send lots of love his way. And until we meet again, keep shining in your brilliance. Thank you, everybody.